All right, so we just wanted to kind of offer up from Rusty's point of view some of the rationale and essentially his thinking and his process toward some of the decisions that have been made about how the gym is moving forward during the quarantine. And the best way we thought we could maybe do this was to kind of have a quick interview with him so that he can speak a little bit off the cuff and offer some thoughts, just to give some insight about, what the programming looks like and what we've been doing with the sessions, since we don't have access to the physical gym right now. And so I think the biggest question on a lot of our members' minds has been, how come you, Rusty, you can still go to the gym and use the barbell if you wanted to, and you haven't been. You've been doing the regular programming off of Zen Planner in the backyard with a sandbag. So we want to talk a little bit about that decision that you've made to not be in the gym yourself.
I guess the short answer is leadership by example. We're all in this kind of together. And so it'd be kind of, I don't want to say unfair, but it would be if I were training either at home or at the gym, I guess I could sneak in there, and start, working out with barbells when, majority of us don't have that ability. I mean, some do, but most of us don't, and it also gives us an opportunity to train modalities that we don't normally do. Sandbags, don't really use a whole lot of those. This is our opportunity to do that. So a lot of that's coming from my brief military experience, where the really one thing that I took away was, leadership by example. So those of you that know me or, been with me for a while, that I don't ask you guys to do anything that I don't do or I wouldn't do, or, you know what I'm saying.
Right. So to kind of, to come off of that, then I know a lot of people are probably concerned about the ability that they have to create an intense workout, or to kind of achieve or mimic the intensity that they would be able to establish in the gym setting, again, with the barbell or with the equipment in the gym. And then we have maybe some people who feel like, well, since I can't use a barbell, or since I don't have the pull-up rig, I'm not going to be able to work out the way that I want to, or I'm not going to be able to work out with the same intensity without that equipment. And so why would I bother? Or maybe kind of to put that question a little bit differently, like, how are we able potentially to be able to achieve that same intensity with a different set of equipment or a limited set of equipment?
So you've got two things going on there. Number one, the barbell, right? So going back to the intro, we talk about barbell being the ideal implement. It's the thing that's going to get us to move with speed and power so that we can perform, daily stuff better, right? Or if you're an athlete, better on the field, better on the court. So yeah, so there's two things going on there. One, the implement. So the barbell, its intention is to develop that hip drive, that speed, as it relates to everyday practical movements. While we're stuck having to do those everyday practical implements, sandbags, case of water, bag of dog food, toilet paper, whatever we have to maneuver. So there, like I said, there's two things there. One, the implement, how our body responds to it, right? So we can get the same hip drive, we can get the same speed, we can get the same movement patterns with the objects that we have: dumbbells, kettlebells, sandbags, pavers, cases of water, suitcases.
Bottles of bleach.
So that's one aspect. The second one is the intensity. That's a different That's a different thing altogether. Where when we're at the gym, you have the coach, us, you have each other. You get to feed off of each other. You even have the whiteboard. You can go in and see what somebody did in a previous session. Like, okay, well, I should at least be here, or I should be able to beat them, or whatever the case. When you're working out on your own, or when we're on the Zoom, we don't really have that same feedback, and we have to go off of internally how we perceive how we're performing that particular movement, that particular workout. So that's the tougher one. Couple of things that happen, if you have an object that's too heavy, you're probably going to get into that muscular fatigue, right? And so you're not going to be able to do as many reps as you used to, right? So it's a different stimulant than what you're used to. If you picked an object that was too light, it goes the other way, where you've got the cardiovascular stimulant, where your goal is to get that heart rate up, maintain it, try to keep moving, right? So those are different aspects that you're going to have a perceived exertion. And as I guess we're going to talk about this maybe later, but as we build our workouts for the week, you guys are going to have options to add another round if there's time, or if you finish really fast, add another round.
There's a way for the programming to kind of take up a little bit for the stimulus of the workout based on what you have as an implement.
Right, because if we were at the gym doing a barbell workout, or in our case a dumbbell workout, like, oh, this is going to be too heavy, let me get a different one. We may not have a different one.
Right.
We may have one that's either going to be too heavy, too light, or maybe it's just right. But again, it depends on the movement. So perceived exertion, probably here's what I would recommend to kind of get a sense for what that perception of how you're doing.
Right.
If there's a multiple round workout, 5 rounds, use the first one to get a sense for how that object is feeling. Right, so use that first round, get a feel for, okay, this is going to be really heavy, or this is going to be really light. Right. The second round, you're going to go all out. Nothing new. That's nothing new that I haven't been telling you guys. The second round, you're going to go all out. Right. I don't want to say as if your life depends on it, but go as if your life depends on it. Go 100% all out. Right. And then moving forward from there, you're going to either throttle up or throttle down or whatever. And ultimately what's going to happen, you're going to have a sense for your pace, your ability, your perceived exertion. And at the end of the workout, or at the end of the session, you should feel pretty beat up. You should feel like you have to lay there for about a minute to 2 minutes before you can start to move again or feel normal. That's kind of what you're looking for. If you feel like you finish, your heart rate's like 100, or you can still walk around, you probably didn't go hard enough, right, or fast enough.
Well, and I think the cool thing is that, you have the opportunity to kind of experiment with that. Nobody's really doing much anything else, so you're welcome to do old workouts, from last week again, if you wanted to kind of see, well, let me see, what did I do, and what happens if I go a little harder during that second round, and et cetera. So that's kind of an option that we have as well. And so maybe what I just want to wrap up here with is to kind of ask you, like, so you have been training now, it's April 5th. What are we in, like the third week of home training?
It's almost 3 weeks. Yeah.
You've not touched a barbell. You've been working primarily with super heavy sandbag. You brought home a super heavy kettlebell.
Dumbbell.
Dumbbell. I'm sorry. And you've also actually trained almost every day since we've been home. what is your takeaway right now? Like as an athlete, what are you feeling? What do you have kind of as insight to offer us based on just the fact that you've been training these at-home workouts with these odd objects for almost 3 weeks now?
Well, it's different. It's completely different than what we normally do. I wouldn't normally do 14 days in a row.
That's true.
Um, but I also have a whole lot of recovery time in between, not knowing what day it is. um, I don't know. Today was the first day I actually did snatches with that dumbbell, and my left arm, my left shoulder feels really awesome. Um, I don't know if it's from what we've been doing for the previous 2 weeks. We have been doing a lot of shoulder. Um, the odd object stuff, the sandbags, it's a different stimulant. It makes me have to brace more, in some cases differently than I would with what I would normally train with. So I don't know. I mean, and we really won't know until we get back to the gym, right?
Right.
We won't know until we get back to the gym, we get back to normal stuff. Um, we get back on a barbell. I don't know. I'm not worried about any of it really. Um, my sense is that I'm going to be better with the barbell, better with snatches, better with clean and jerk. But again, we won't know till, but I definitely won't get worse.
Right. Right. I mean,
um,
even if what we're doing right now is strictly maintenance, it's effective in your opinion.
oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, we could take a look through the Whoop data, but I think the last 2 weeks I probably had more above 10 strains that I have in a while.
Right.
But I don't know. We'll take a look at that. So no, I don't wish I had a barbell. One of the things is that I have an excuse why I'm not training with the barbell. Well, we don't really have the space at home, number one. Number two, it's not a great example for everybody. Um, yeah, I'm not really worried.
Cool. Anything else you want to offer or end with before we close down?
Oh, that's open. It's open-ended. I don't know. I'd like to see more people involved, whether it's just a Facebook message group or just let us know you're alive. I mean, that's really what we're here for, is making sure you guys are maintaining at a minimum,
Yeah.
and for sure getting better as we move forward through this time.
All right. Well, thanks for the time. I appreciate it.